Welcome to the only honest NFL Power Rankings for NFL Week 6. All those other power ranking shows, liars, especially if they're posted by The Ringer.
Power Rankings coming up now.
I'm Brendan Perna, and after I rank the top teams, I'm going to spin this curse wheel to see who it takes down. Last week it killed the Seahawks, and I am now convinced it actually possesses magical and evil powers. But before we get to the top teams, we're going to heaven, where I'm giving the healing lights of heaven to the Jets. You're the only team without a victory this season. The Jets are 0-5, and they're the only team in NFL history to start 0-5 and not record a single takeaway. That's rough when your head coach is a defensive guy, too. May heaven keep you winless, so you can have the number 1 overall pick in the draft, or at least so my Broncos can get the win against you on Sunday in London. In Purgatory, the Alohi Gilman and Odafe Owe trade. It happened after the Joe Flacco trade, and I don't think anyone noticed. Owe had one nice season with the Ravens with 10 sacks in 2024, but I'd be weary accepting a trade from a team selling edge rushers after placing their star defensive end on IR. In hell, the AFC North, the only team to win in that unit over the last 2 weeks is the Steelers. They had a bye, and the rest of the bottom feeders went 0-6 over the last 2 weeks. This is one of the most bizarre situations developing in the league this season, and bizarre just hit the crack pipe.
I want some crack!
Because the Browns traded Joe Flacco to the Bengals this week. Some are saying the Bengals effectively traded for a 40-year-old Jake Browning. Considering Jake has 6 touchdowns to 8 picks and Joe has 2 touchdowns to 6 picks, that feels accurate. Only Geno Smith has more picks than either of those guys. I do think Joe will try and air it out to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but we all know the only real choice should have been Jameis Winston.
Sure feels like you're playing in the AFC North.
It is. It's magical. Thank you.
I gotta have more cowbell, baby.
The Falcons, Bears, Packers, and Steelers were all on byes this week, which means they're not going to be on the power rankings. If you don't play, you don't get... Fuck. They're all bye weeks. Bye weeks are for losers, so fuck them. Number 14, I've got the Chiefs. You're lucky to be on the list this week, Kansas City, with your losing-ass record. The only reason you're here, though, is just so the wheel can possibly curse you and force you to miss the playoffs altogether. What I do know is that your deal with the devil, it's officially over. I called him, and he confirmed. It's why you're 0-3 in one-score games this season instead of 10-0 like you were last year. The Jaguars simply wanted it more on Monday night. I'd suggest finding a way to not make Patrick Mahomes your leading rusher every week if you want to course correct. We're about to find out if Andy Reid can evolve and commit to the run game to help his team. And since you lost, I'm not even going to say the thing that I say about you every week. You know, when I tell you to go do that thing to yourself, I'm not going to do it. Number 13, the Texans. Houston. It appears the AFC South is not the cakewalk it was the last 2 seasons. You're down, but not out. And you might actually have to figure your shit out before the wild card round this year. Fortunately, I think you're in the process of doing just that, outscoring your opponent 70-10 in the last 2 games. Not the toughest foes, but it's a good way to head into the bye week. Everything has improved since you released C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I like the 2-headed dick monster that is Woody and Chubb in your backfield. That double-ended day, you get the point. They've combined for 6 of the Texans' touchdowns this year. Houston's 3 losses have been to the Rams, Bucks, and Juggernaut Jags. Hindsight shows us that it was a tough 3 games to open the season, Houston. The Texans' defense held the Bucks to their lowest score this year as well at 20 points. And I'm trying to be early on the Texans because I think it's starting to click for Stroud and their offense. Number 12, I've got the Commies. The Commanders have found a stud running back by the name of Ja'Cory Bill Krosky Merritt. I'm not aware of any other Bill in the NFL right now. At least speaking of players, so here's a word of advice. Just go by Bill, singular, like Cher or Madonna or Beyonce.
I'm just Bill. Yes, I'm only Bill.
Bill is currently averaging an absurd 6.6 yards per carry, which is the best in the league. For whatever reason, he hasn't really gotten talked about too much this season, but Deebo Samuel is looking like a home run signing for the Commanders. He was never supposed to be their top receiver, but with Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown on the mend, Deebo leads the team quietly with 300 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns plus 46 yards on the ground and another TD there. Number 11, that's right, the Cowboys. Jerry Jones did something that was actually very likable this week when he gave the bird to Jets fans from his box. Now, Jerry has had it tough recently, and I've been hard on him, so I'm glad he got that cathartic release. If you want another release, Jerry, I suggest you call up Robert Kraft and ask for some recommendations. Now, the NFL actually fined Jerry Jones $250,000 for his bird flipping, to which Jerry replied, "Do you take cash? Do you take cash? Because I'm Jerry Jones. I got that money in my wallet. Also, did you know you could scheme pressure?" Outside of Jerry, I'd like to spotlight Jake Ferguson, who became the 4th tight end in NFL history to have 40 or more receptions through the first 5 weeks of the season. And we talked a little bit about Javonte Williams already, happy for him and his incredible comeback season. Side note, I think it worked out for Javonte and J.K. Dobbins. I think Javonte Williams is a better fit for the Cowboys and how they run the ball, and I think J.K. is a better fit for the Broncos, and I'm happy for both guys, okay? But I also wanted to point out that the Cowboys have gotten a huge boost from Ryan Flournoy and Kevontae Turpin in CeeDee Lamb's absence. Flournoy had 114 yards against New York, while Turpin had 94 yards over the last 2 weeks. And if I'm being completely honest, I am just now learning who Ryan Flournoy is. What I do know is in his second year with the exact same number of targets and receptions, he's 47 yards better. Dallas is still giving up the second most touchdowns this year, but I'm bullish on their offense that's leading the NFL with 406 yards per game. Number 10, the Seahawks and the Rams. The Seahawks and the Rams kind of feel like the same team to me. They play to the level of their competition a little bit, don't they? But I think both teams will get better as the season goes on, which is going to make for a really compelling finish in the NFC West. I doubt he wins it, but for the second straight year, Sam Darnold is playing like a legitimate MVP candidate, leading the NFL right now with 9.3 yards per attempt. You could basically say the same thing about Matty Stafford, who's got 11 touchdowns to 2 picks and leads the league with over 1,500 passing yards. Number 9, the Eagles. What happened, Philly? What happened? Their 10-game win streak was broken by a team who has now leapfrogged them in the power rankings, the Broncos. The real elephant in the room for the Eagles isn't the target share for A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. It's the fact that Saquon Barkley, he of 2,000 rushing yards, has just 83 carries for 287 yards. That's 3.2 yards per carry. Gross. It looks like Barkley tweaked his knee against Denver, but it really wouldn't shock me if he had been dealing with some kind of undisclosed injury prior to that game. If I'm Saquon Barkley, I say I've been playing through a wrist injury since the Super Bowl from all the goddamn tush pushes they asked me to do. 8, the Patriots. This was a true coming out week for the Patriots in the same way the Broncos had a coming out party in Philly. We must acknowledge, unlike his alma mater, that Drake Maye is the real deal. And good for Patriots fans who had to suffer without a star quarterback for all of 4 years. I know it's been a hard less than half a decade for you guys. Maye has now had a 4-game streak where he's completed over 73% of his passes, thrown for over 200 yards, and eclipsed a passer rating of 100. The last Patriots QB to do that was Tom Brady in 2007. Maye is also now 5th in passing yards with 1,261. Put it like this, Drake Maye's 241 passing yards per game is 0.4 yards better than Patrick Mahomes and tied exactly with Josh Allen. His offense is 25 points per game, tied with the Chiefs. Am I saying Drake Maye is some weird amalgamation of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes? Yes I am. Unlike the Bills though, Drake has been cooking without help from his run game. The Pats have one of the worst rushing offenses in the NFL. Mike Vrabel, though, he's the real deal, and he's going to be in the discussion for Coach of the Year if this trajectory continues. Lucky 7, the Denver mother-licking Broncos. It's time to appreciate one of the most consistent receivers in the NFL, my friends. My man, unbutton for Sutton. Okay? That's a zipper. Fudge. Facing one of the best corners in the league in Quinyon Mitchell. Sutton, on Sunday, had the best day any receiver has had this season facing Guantanamo Bay. I needed to show some love to Cortland, who is perennially underrated. He never puts up insane numbers, but he's been the Broncos' most consistent receiver this last decade, and he deserves the flowers for surviving all of those quarterbacks. And every week, I feel like I gotta talk about Nick Bonito, because he's currently the Defensive Player of the Year. He's got 7 sacks through 5 games. He's the first Bronco since Von Miller to have 3 straight games with multiple sacks. And he's on pace to break the single-season sack record of 22.5, held by Michael Strahan and TJ Watt. Not bad for the 64th overall pick. And how did Denver acquire that pick? By trading Von Miller.
Nick Bonito at 64, holy
Nick Bonito at 64. Holy shit is right, George. Of course, Denver doesn't upset the Eagles without Bo Nix, the first quarterback to put up a QB rating of 85 versus the Eagles this season, the first to throw for 200 yards without a pick, and the first to complete 60% of his passes with over 6 yards per attempt. That was an elite defense he carved up in the fourth quarter. And no, I don't care if it was only in the fourth quarter. Denver lost guard Ben Powers with a biceps injury, and he went to IR, so I hope to Christ Alex Pasquetsky. I hope Alex is ready to go. Coming in at 666, sign of the devil is the Jags. You don't beat the Chiefs when you're down 14 points without a little devil magic, do you, Jacksonville? Our only flavored coffee, Devil Magic, available at benchwarmershop.com. I should have known that the only place capable of warding off the power of the occult was a truly godless city like Jacksonville, Florida. The Jaguars are 4-1 for the first time since 2007. That team was really good and just so happened to run into the undefeated Patriots in the divisional round. If not for a frantic comeback by Jake Browning of all quarterbacks, the 2025 Jags would be 5-0. That win on Monday night will forever be decided by a pick 6 and a trip 6. And I'm eternally grateful for both plays because it felt like the horseshoe has finally been dislodged from Kansas City's collective anus. Thank you, Duval. Number 5, the Bills. I kind of penciled in the Bills for a 7-0 start, just glossing over the Patriots. It feels like the Bills might have done the same thing. Turns out the AFC East might not be the Bills' personal turnstile anymore. And by AFC East, I just mean the Patriots. For the second year in a row since trading Stephon Diggs, the Bills have options at receiver, but they lack a true number 1. Khalil Shakir is consistent. Joshua Palmer has actually been a nice add, and they still want more out of Keon Coleman, who was suspended for the first drive on Sunday night for being late. You know you don't have a ton of really good options when you suspend a guy for 1 drive. But careful, Keon. If you stay out too late, you might run into Mark Sanchez. I know the Amari Cooper trade was a swing and a miss last year, but fuck it. I think they should go back to the well and trade for one of New Orleans' wideouts. Maybe Rashid Shaheed. That seems to make a lot of sense for a team that doesn't have a true deep threat. Or maybe they go big and try and strike a deal for Chris Olave. Make a move, Buffalo. Number 4, the Niners. The first thing I want to say about Mac Jones is, go fuck yourself, Kansas City. You really thought I wouldn't do it, didn't ya? The 49ers are 4-1 with a weekly medical bill that costs more than the GDP of the United Kingdom. You're down 1 receiver, Kansas City? Is that your excuse? The Niners don't have George Kittle, who is injured as frequently as Travis Kelce drops passes. Their top wideout is on IR. Yours is suspended. They also didn't play with Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Jordan Watkins, and their goddamn quarterback, and they won. They beat a division rival's ass on a short week in primetime, and you let Trevor Lawrence stumble all over your defense. Mac Jones, you're still awesome. I hope you didn't see any dead bodies this week. Unless seeing a dead body is good luck for you, then I hope you saw 11. And they were all Okay, that's going too far. But seriously, go fuck yourself, Kansas City. I see dead people. Number 3, the Buccaneers. When Troy Aikman compared Bosef Nix to Baker Mayfield, he may have been onto something. From the 33rd team, Baker Mayfield has 6 touchdowns on throws of 20-plus air yards. He and Bo Nix, who has 4, are the only quarterbacks with more than 3 such TDs. Considering Baker found Jesus this offseason, I'm gonna say they are exactly the same QB. Well, if Bo Nix and Denver had won 4 of their games in the final minutes like the Buccaneers instead of losing 2 of 3, I would say they are the exact same player. And I know I say his name every week.
Emeka Egbegboo.
Big Boo. I'm sorry, I had to one more time.
Emeka Egbegboo. Emeka Egbegboo.
But I say Emeka Egbuka every week because he's that goddamn good. He leads all rookies in receiving yards at 445, and that's good for 4th overall in the league. The craziest thing about the Buccaneers' electric win against Seattle is they did it without Bucky Irving and, of course, Mike Evans. Their offense has not been 100% healthy all year, but they figure out ways to win. Rachaad White needs some love for scoring twice in Bucky's absence. He wasn't great between the 20s, but when he saw the end zone, he broke the threshold twice.
Early on in my career, it's looked as cocky, immature. Now it's moxie. He's a dog. So it's same shit, different day. Just as long as you play well, they change the narrative. But you just got to be yourself, and I've always been like that.
Number 2, the Colts. Indiana Jones has led the Colts to 40 points twice this season. In his 6 seasons with the Giants, that never happened once within regulation. Now, I should note, when he was a backup with the Vikings, he once watched Sam Darnold and his team score 40. The Colts' 17 offensive TDs this season, that's tied for 3rd best with the Cowboys. They trail only the Lions and Bills in that department. Danny is selling dimes more efficiently than any quarterback in the league, not named Jared Goff. Their offense has the highest EPA per play in the NFL right now. The area they do need to improve in is generating quarterback pressure on opposing QBs, okay? Their defense overall, it's like a healthy shit. It's very solid. They're tied at 9th for touchdowns allowed. They're allowing less than 100 rushing yards per game, and they're actually tied with the Browns in terms of sacks with 14. So they're one of those rare teams who is good at getting sacks, but is 11th worst in quarterback pressure rate at 31.7%, sandwiched between the Cardinals and Jags. The reason we nerds love pressure rate is because it's a metric that if high, it can disrupt more plays, right? And lead to better things happening for your defense, turnovers, throwaways, and just flat out mistakes. The Colts have the 4th most turnovers already this season at 8. If they bring that pressure rate up, holy shit, they might be number 1 in turnover differential by the end of the season. The one hiccup that worries me is that the Colts had to sign Michael Badgley to replace kicker Spencer Schrader, who tore his ACL and MCL. When you factor in leverage, Schrader was 13 of 14 on the season. Special teams have been more impactful than ever this year, so the Money Badger better not screw up Indiana Jones the way Disney did. And number 1, the Lions. Look who's back where they were just a year ago. The Lions got a massive scare when it was reported that Terrion Arnold suffered a shoulder injury that was going to keep him out the entire season. Just what the Lions needed after getting skull-fucked by the injury bug a year ago, right? Arnold got a second opinion, and it turns out he's probably not even going to need to go on IR, which is, of course, fantastic news for Detroit because he's been huge for them, and they could not afford to lose more players in their secondary. If he gets a third opinion, his shoulder might already be healed. The whole defense has been kind of middle of the pack so far this season, but I expect them to get better. They've been swarming the quarterback with 103 pressures and 16 sacks through 5 games. 16 sacks is 2nd best in the league, 5 behind the 1st best in that category. And I'm going to let you guess what team that is. Boom! Oh, guys, you did it. You did it. You helped me get over 800,000 subscribers. It happened yesterday, last night. We're already at 801,000 subscribers. thank you. From the bottom of my tiny, cold, black little heart, this means a ton. We're not stopping here. We got to keep going, but seriously, I fucking appreciate the hell out of it. Everybody who's rocked with this channel, who supported this channel since the beginning. It's took 12 and a half years to get to, so thank you. And when you see what the curse wheel does at the end of this episode, this is going to be really funny. All right, little wheel. I'll fix that next week. Let's spin this big, beautiful... Ow. Oh, no. Oh, no, we're just going to let it count. We're going to let it count. The wheel wants what it wants. Oh, God. No. Hey, you fucker. You son of a bitch. It's cursing me personally. I don't... Why did I put that on there, first off? Well, we'll see if... Hey, if I'm not back for power rankings next week, somebody call the police on the wheel. Here's the real spin. Benchwarmershop.com if you liked any of the cursed logos you see here today. Guys, I'm a little scared. Oh no, the dongle's barely hanging on. The dongle broke. We've got a broken dongle. Oh God, this is gonna spin forever. Oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, no, don't pick up speed. Don't pick up speed. I swear to God, you go to me again. You sure about that? You sure about that one? You're going with number one? You guys are right. I think this has a weighted issue. All right, so he says it wants the Lions. That seems stupid. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Oh God, what have I done? The Lions play the Chiefs on prime time. Oh, I am my own worst enemy. Fudge.